So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand back to Radka, Katie and Jean and Adam, and they're going to talk for around about 10 minutes and tell stories around about what a jam is and their experience of jams and that type of thing. Or in the case of Radka, her lack of experience of jams. So I'll hand back. So Katie, if you could kick off the conversation, that would be great. 10 minutes.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Andy. Great little warm-up exercise. It's got me excited about what's in store for the rest of the day. So yes, a little bit of a discussion around jams. So for me, I have to admit as well that although I have organised and mentored a few jams now, I've never been a participant myself. Although you do get the opportunity to go and take part in different exercises when you're not presenting. But for me, my first experience was in 2017. And it was in Dundee and Angus College, and it was actually quite a well-attended jam with over 85 people turning up, all enthusiastic about learning about design and different ways of working. That one was a Gov Jam, so focused on, you know, government services, which actually can range, is a very broad subject to tackle. But my experience is that it's a new way to collaborate. Everybody seems to have a very relaxed approach to learning. Everybody's in the same boat, whether you're an experienced designer or whether you're a newbie, because at the jams, it's always a new challenge, and it's a secret challenge that they'll set for the whole world to tackle at the same time. So over 2 days, the world will tackle that challenge. So it's 48 hours to change the world. Jean, you've got a lot of experience of running jams as well. Oh, you're still on mute.
There we go. Yeah, my first experience of jam, which I think was the second global service jam that took place. I missed the first one because it was my daughter's hen weekend. Sorry, priorities. So the second one, I went along as a participant, and it was just amazing. It was down in London and met so many people who were passionate about doing. I was still very much on my learning journey about service design at that time. So I was very much a sponge, soaking it all up. Great team efforts, absolutely wonderful. Since then, I've been a mentor, and I've run some service jams here in Derby as well. And what I love about them is it's very collegiate, it's very creative, it comes together, it really gets across the idea, you know, you really do get out there and talk to people about your ideas, you talk to the public, you get out there on the street. Some people are a bit nervous about doing that, but it always produces fantastic results when you really are working with the public and prototyping and trying to iterate what it is that you're developing. And it's such fun, and I love being connected globally as well. For me, that's a big part of it. The fact that you know that this is going on right around the world is absolutely wonderful, and really just brings us together.
Excellent. Okay, so we did say that we had Adam here, who is actually part of Global Jams HQ, if you like. Adam, would you like to explain from your point of view what a jam is? There's no better person to explain it. Come from.
I'm not sure about that, but I'll give it a go. So jamming is an intensive, we call it a pressure cooker work format. It's been around for a long time, and around 10 years ago, the Global Jams movement started up, inspired by other wonderful events, to run these global events in a tight time frame with very, very large ideals and very large, if you like, aspirations. So we say, save the world in 48 hours, you know, redesign government in 48 hours. Of course, it's a ridiculous thing to try, but it actually works, because what you do is, by going into this thing, you change your appreciation or your view of something and your feeling of agency within that. So I usually explain jams by talking about the jams you might see at your local Irish pub or at the jazz club, yeah? Where musicians come along, and they probably don't know each other, and they each bring one or more instruments, and they bring a certain level of expertise. Could be beginners, could be experts, and they begin open mind. That's the most important thing. They don't meet there to play one particular type of music or one particular song. That's a rehearsal. They meet there to learn off each other. So somebody sends out a melody or a riff, and somebody else picks that up and turns it around and plays it back, and somebody else joins in. And together they make a thing they could never have made before. They could never have made alone. Yeah, this is the important part, because they are building off each other's experience, input, and inspiration. And at the end of this, you haven't recorded an album. Yeah, that's quite an important thing. In a jazz jam, there's very rarely a recording running, because that would actually even inhibit some people. But you've become a better musician, you've learned possible new tricks, you've met people you want to collaborate with, and you've had a fun time. And there's nothing wrong with having a fun time. So it's really important to understand that a jam has two types of results. Yeah, I call them the outputs and the outcomes. And the outputs are where a lot of people who are starting to jam really focus. That's it, on the projects that you develop in this time. And this is everything from researching a problem to ideating around it to prototyping a solution. A jam is not an ideas event. Ideas are way too easy. Yeah. So those are the outputs. But we also have the outcomes. And the outcomes are what happens to you as a person. That you meet somebody you might want to try something else with, that you learn that this particular technique is not for me, yeah? That you get some certain techniques or inspirations that you can use outside. And there's a very smart Indian jammer once said to me, jams can make innovations, but they really make innovators. They make people who have a better approach or a new approach or an alternative approach to problem solving. And somebody else said the really exciting projects come after the jam, because then you are fired up and you're ready and you've got a new approach to do this. It's also fun. It's pretty silly. You'll see lots of things like rubber chickens and so on going around, because some people find that useful, but it's not a monoculture. You can be a jammer in a suit and a smile. You're just as welcome as somebody wearing a crazy hat and waving a rubber chicken, because anybody can jam if they've got an open mind.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Perfect. And that's the sort of inspiration that we're needing for today, Adam, is just to really explain the experience and the things that can come from this. And that was what really inspired us when we started this network to aim towards a jam for education. And when we first met up in June last year, we did a timeline, a backcasting timeline, and the showcase was a jam. That was what we were working towards. So it's really exciting that there's so many people here willing to contribute to what that could potentially be. But I think at this point, you know, we were really excited about hosting it in the V&A Dundee and having them as a sponsor and very kindly giving us that venue to be able to showcase the first EDUJAM. But I think realistically we need to face the facts and in the current circumstances that that's going to not be possible. We had originally set the dates for September, like you said, Adam, to get people fired up to be at the start of that school year and give people the ammunition to make change as they were going and practice that year before major changes would happen the following summer, for partnerships to be built. But I think we need to focus on the fact that this is probably going to be a digital EDUJAM for the first time. And although we still want inspiration and ideas for the face-to-face and what that could potentially be next year, I think we need to focus on the fact that this is going to be a digital approach. And we want to just make the most of that. So, I mean, all of the ideas that we take today, if we can't put them into a digital format, then we can use them as the face-to-face as we move forward. I'm already speaking about running another one, so there we go. That's just happened. We've got a couple of people in the chat actually that have said they'd be willing to share their experience. I think it was Elaine. Was it Elaine? Do you want to put your microphone on and your camera on and share your experience?
Hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so the jam, the only one I attended in London was really, really magical. It's really, really nice. I'm studying service design in university as well. So, but I didn't know what to expect. So there were a lot of games and a lot of food. There was some talks, people explaining what was going to happen or more theoretical things, but mostly was play. And we had different teams. The topic, general topic was the color blue. So we brainstormed a lot around it. And my team, we end up working on NHS project because blue for us reminded of the uniforms and like peace of mind and healing. So we concentrate on that. And then, so it was 2 days. And in between, we went to the hospital around the area. We didn't interview anyone in the hostel because we were a bit like ethically concerned, but we did a lot of observation. And then from those insights, we actually interviewed people in the park, which was really hard because it was a nice day and we didn't want to like, hi, have you been to how was your experience in the hospital last time? So, but I don't remember details, but we did interview 3 or 4 people, and they were so like happy to share. Actually, there was a guy that I think he fell from the bike, and he had a nice story. So we collect these things, the information, and then we end up doing a project about waiting rooms, and because there were lots of like plastic cups in the floor. Mm-hmm. People drinking water, so we kind of developed a toolkit for people who are in with their families in a hostel. So there was like a water bottle that you could reuse, so we don't waste the plastic cups. There was a face mask so you can relax because there is no like a sleeping room if you have to spend the night or something. So there were little things in the box. There was like a little booklet that you could fill up information like a diary, because if you're really upset, you can just share your thoughts, or little games you could play with your family. Don't remember everything, but it was really fun, and it was interesting to see how from the word blue, a lot of people did so many different projects. It was really fun.